There are three modes of learning in every school. Schools teach by what they say, whether it's called a VAC model. So that's visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. Visual being visual, auditory being talk, kinesthetic being manipulation of the thing that you're learning hands-on. And every teacher is supposed to understand how their children learn. So that means that individual children have these learning abilities, and the teacher observes how the child is performing and from one task to the next, and they kind of figure out that this kid is this, and so they adapt the academic work to that kid. Well, that can happen or it cannot happen. And as a parent, you don't know that that's what is happening. You just say that, go to school and do your homework. And there's so much more to that. Being the youngest, I wasn't studious. I was, not really learning like I could or should, or applying myself. And then, I didn't understand that I was a visual learner until later. I mean, I could not understand why I could not learn the way the academic structure and institution teaches. You have a person at front talking, teaching. And my mind is wondering. And I'm sitting here trying to get these concepts, and the next thing you know, we have a quiz, a test, and I'm like, what is information come from? And so the way I studied it was to do it through repetition. So, most of my learning and how I showed up with the family, it must have looked to them like I just didn't know what the hell was going on. But I was in my mind trying to figure it out in terms of how I learn the information. So there's a process of trying to understand how to learn, and then how to retain the information, and then how to utilize it. And again, I'm doing this through trial and error while failing, so much that I actually failed the third grade, and my twin sister was 1 year ahead of me until we finished high school. So at that point, I had just internalized that I can't learn, that probably I wasn't smart. And so I did the minimum to pass, because that was what I could produce at what I thought my maximum capacity was. And as long as I wasn't in trouble, then the adults around me reinforced that was okay to be average. And so I showed up in my family by being average, staying low. The women were ahead, so they took the dominant position in the household, and I really didn't start challenging that until I, got older, my body filled out. But other than that, it was what they said, what they wanted to go on. And there was some battles there because, I'm the only boy at the time in the house. And so, I got strong women in my family who I love to this day, but they were doing the best thing that they knew how. And again, without a father figure in the household, they too were trying by trial and error how to manage the guy in the household.